The Easy Skanking is brought to you by Red Stripe. Win over 12 million in cash and prizes in the Beer Winnings promotion. Drink and live responsibly. It is now time for Road to Success, the journey, and I'm really excited about this conversation today. From major labels to music royalties, publishing, copyright, and distribution deals, Lloyd Laing, also known as Regiology, is a business music consultant, a catalog manager, and a chief strategist. Lloyd Laing, good afternoon and welcome.
Welcome. Privilege. It's a privilege to be here.
Look, it's amazing to have you. Know why I'm so excited about this conversation today, because you're always talking about issues and everything. But today we're going to talk a little bit about you as well, in addition to issues and the business of music. Because you're not to talk about yourself in a Laing.
Not really, because it's all about the music, At the end of the day, when you know your assignment, you just stick to it. You dig?
Yeah, me dig. All right, but let's kick things off though. Like, talk to us a little bit about your early years. How would you describe growing up, and where did you grow up?
I'm a country boy, I'm a country boy. I grew up in St. Elizabeth, Black River. Black River is my hometown. Black River Primary is, the roots of my educational upbringing, augmented it by Monroe College, which is probably one of the best institutions in the island. And country life I have had, and I must give God thanks that I've had the opportunity to travel the world, but at roots I'm still a countryman. And some of my family members them call me a cosmopolitan countryman, because at the end of the day, my country at heart, and I was raised by my grandparents, so I'm a stickler for certain things, and but just grow within a very rigid discipline household. I give myself trouble, I've given myself trouble, but over the years, you learn that some of the rules and regulations that your grandpeople were setting were really some guidance for life. So I live by them now unequivocally, Yeah.
Wow. Interestingly, like, that's where you went. Can you kind of share with us like a early life lesson that you would have learned from your grandparents that still resonates with Lloyd Laing, the man?
Well, I can give you two. And they stick with me to this very day. My grandfather always said, as a man, your word is everything, because that's the only thing you really have as a man in this world is your word. So if you can't keep your word, you don't have no balls, and if you don't have no balls, you're not a man. My grandmother always said, to be rich is to be content, and I figured that out later in life, So those two things are very important to me. Those two rules in life.
Wow. You speak a lot about your grandparents. Did you have any relationship with your mom or dad?
So my father, for those who don't know, my parents are pioneers in their own right. My father is Lloyd Laing, who helped to privatize Workers Bank, and one of the early investors in what was considered Courts Jamaica. My mother, for those who know and for those who don't know, is one of Jamaica's first fashion models, if not the first, and the first person in the Caribbean to be an Essence cover twice. She has done herself, and of course one of the best English teachers all around in the Caribbean. So I have big footsteps and big shoes to fill. My grandparents are also landmark educators for over 60 years, and it's for me just sharing information. And I ran away from teaching. Let me just put it that way. I ran away from teaching, but I ended up back now sharing knowledge and teaching youth. So at the end of the day, you really can't run away from your destiny.
No, absolutely. No, Laing, you reach your destination, coming all over you're driving on.
No, man. Me there with driver, man. I always have a trusted driver who anywhere me are going to Jamaica. Okay. That's where I'm going, so that I can be doing business and doing it the right way. No, man. I'm not interviewing and driving.
Okay. No, I can kind of calm down a little bit.
I'm good man. You're good man.
Okay. So that's good. So here it is now, good education, like, emphasis is there. You within yourself know that, teaching is almost like a calling. So what was your plan of action though after your school years? Where did that take you next?
That took me to, well, first of all, I have, my background is in computer programming and data analytics. So that is where the journey took me, because at a point in time I was supposed to have done law, much to the ill will of my grandparents who thought that computer was novelties, but I proved them wrong. And so I decided to take on a whole pursuit within the computer programming. I started off as a system analyst for a company called World Telenet. World Telenet introduced the first, what we call it, we introduced the unlimited internet model to Jamaica, and that was in 1996, 1998. And I have just spent my time since then working with some great pioneer projects. I mean, I was at Go Telecommunications as a network systems administrator for a few years. I helped to establish the first call center in Negril, a 24-seat call center in Negril. So I've just always been one that just trying to do some things that are different. Later down, we did introduce a tablets in schools program at the University of West Indies that has helped significantly over the last decade to reduce the cost of books and as well, keep down the cost of education over there despite rising costs everywhere. But we have done, I think I've come back and I've made my national contribution. I've effected a lot of good good projects here in Jamaica. I used to be the director of innovation at the Ministry of Tourism, TLN, and there are a lot of projects at TLN that I started. I couldn't continue to name all the projects, but I've done a lot of work on the ground here in technology. And then after technology, I just decided that take a look at the music industry. And at the time when I decided to move into the music industry, it was not, there was no data. There's no data for our industry. And so there goes the wormhole, and here we are today, just trying to help the youth them and those who are willing to invest in themselves to structure the next generation of what we consider the homegrown music industry. You hearing me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
Right. Okay, so I'm saying great point. Something I want to mention as it relates to your tech journey before we get into the music aspect of things. I love how you basically gave us that, concise information regarding something so detailed and in depth. In the 90s, like you mentioned, you later co-founded, like the mobile, creating the smart hub for UA, like all those things as well. But how did these early experiences, though, Laing, kind of shape your approach to innovation?
Sometimes, and I'm going to be very truthful and honest, when we started JL Mobile, the entire idea was to see if we could manufacture our own tablets here in Jamaica. And, my partner at the time, Jovan Alston, we spent a lot of time going through to see how we could break down the manufacturing process where it could be assembled here in Jamaica. So a lot of people don't know there was a time when Jamaica was making its own tablet called the Smart Tab, right? And one of the things that I've learned along the way, and I'll be very frank, is that innovation in Jamaica is thwarted by political interests and bandwagonism within politics. So if you're trying to do something for the people and politics can be a part of it, you're not going to see progress. And I can tell you that much.
Wow.
Yeah?
So much is said there, but I'm saving it for later when we talk about, the entertainment business and what the entertainment ministry, can do for the music. But until we get to that point, back to Lloyd Laing and your introduction to music, I found it surprising, that you used to be a songwriter and engineer. Take us back Laing. Take us back to that point.
All right. So when in my summers, one of the things that my mother ensured to do every holiday is that from 13 I'm 14. Was that I had to have a job during the holidays. So my jobs, because I was into music, my jobs existed between Donovan Germain's studio at the time at Slipe Road. I was a gopher. You know, going to get patty, going to get juice, take this go downstairs. So I started at Donovan Germain place, and when I left school, I ended up at Gussie Clark under the tutelage of Mikey and Dr. Marshall, and had a wonderful experience there as well. And even got my first start in business through Gussie Clark. My first studio I established was through the help of Gussie Clark. I'll talk about that on the next phase. That's a very funny experience. But um, that's where it started, and I learned a lot of things along the way. Being involved with the early stages of the reggae revival community to really set a lot of foundation for what we see now, what I'm doing now, because I saw some of the mistakes that I made and some of the mistakes that were made during that time, just overall. But considering that, it has been a journey. We had our experiences with working with major labels, and that is a whole conversation by itself, you know, and decided that we were going to sell out our own because we wanted to be a part of something that people would consider greater. But we're not going to sell out our own, and we're not going to sell out our culture. My grandmother always tell me at the end of the day, if you're going to do things in life and you can't sleep after you do it, then you set up yourself in a life. And a lot of people, because of wealth and riches, set up themselves and them can't sleep good at night up to this day, no matter how rich them be. And that is where I realized the lesson that she said, where to be rich is to be content. Yeah? You have to pick your battles and pick your riches wisely. So at the end of the day, peace of mind is probably the only thing that you can't pay for, no matter how much money you have in the world. So if you can afford yourself peace of mind, you're richer than most people.
Yeah, absolutely. But Laing, what I want to find out from you though is, here it is, you had this tech background, but then you found yourself in music around two staples in the entertainment industry, Donovan Germain and Gussie Clark. Like you mentioned, not having the experience, but being in this field, what was your takeaway? What did you learn from them? Give us like an example of what you saw they were doing wrong that you thought needed fixing then.
I don't think they were doing anything wrong. I learned some of the hardest lessons, and some of the business is business. And that's the first thing Gussie Clark and you will learn from Donovan Germain is business is business. And what I think they never did that I'm trying to do for this generation is to teach the youth who want to learn about the business of music. Yeah. Back in the days when, Donovan Germain, early days of Penthouse, early days of Anchor Music, the artists then wasn't interested in anything but masters and dubplate and all of these things. And them never did a techno talk. But we have a different generation of artists now who are a little bit more learned and are willing to understand the business because they have seen the mistakes that the elders have been made. And those who have invested in themselves and are willing to invest in building a music career have that information. But I would say the only thing of the previous generation is that they never did share the information on the business side. And I just want to say, let it not be said that us as Generation X did not provide that information to the youth. Whether they want it or not, the information is out there within the space.
But being so close to Penthouse Records and ultimately Donovan Germain, what do you make of the current situation involving Buju Banton, Wayne Wonder, Frankie Sly, and ultimately Donovan Germain as well?
I said it and I'll say it again. And I want to listen to me when I say this. It's only when the meat reach to the bone that people quarrel about fat. Yeah. And that is to say that, a lot of people who are focusing on publishing now, and we see this whole writing and attention and publishing and music publishing, is because a lot of people never realized that publishing was the pension. And now that the show has slowed down, now that the music business has changed its entire structure, then at the end of the day, it's as though, everybody is trying to rally for what they should have done 10, 20 years ago. And as the business becomes more focused on intellectual property, and we see a lot of non-music entities investing in in intellectual property, we find people becoming a lot more conscious of what is in intellectual property and what can be had. The problem is that it's a little bit too late for some, and for many they still don't understand it, and it's like a land grab. There's an undertone right now, and I don't think a lot of people in the industry know it. There's a lot of money now that is going to be spent on music catalogs between 1987 and 2002, especially within the home reggae and dancehall category. There's going to be billions of dollars that are going to be spent over the next 16 months. And everybody's just trying now, it's a land grab. Everybody's trying to ensure have them publishing, own something, have something, so that, if thief attack and them can make something off of this land grab, they can make something. But there are a lot of people that are going to be very disappointed at the end of the day, and all because they didn't do business. Everybody comes into this business wanting to be a star. Everybody comes into this business wanting to, the glitz and the glamour, and not understanding that the publishing portion of the business is where you actually make money.
So Laing, you have given us a wealth of information right there, and I realized that you didn't really speak specifically to the Buju Banton Wayne Wonder case, but you did give us some great insights.
I said it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not one. First of all, let me just be frank with you, Kashima.
Yes.
If I'm going to be frank, I don't think that this whole situation, and I'm going to be very honest, this whole situation right now with Wayne Wonder and Buju Banton is totally unnecessary. And what we have seen time and time again, and I'll say it because I've always speak from a point of empirical evidence and data. Buju has a mouth issue. Buju's biggest problem is his mouth, and it is also his biggest tool and his greatest weapon. And he has used it time and time again. We see it even have the genetical dispensation to pass to the next generation, when we see even his son talk out a turn the other day. It is just something that is inherent in Buju. Buju is going through a situation where he believes, as an icon, to stay relevant, he has to brush other people along the way. And it's not the first in do it, it's not the second time in do it, it's not the third time, it's just a part-time nature. So I don't know why we're sitting here and we are quite surprised at the attitude of Buju Banton. Nobody has ever heard anyone that get up and say a bad word about nobody. And if you understand the underlying tide of their relationship, you'd understand that this situation really throws people off our loop. For those who understand, the unconditional support that Wayne Wonder has shown Buju. I don't think that it should be, this scenario should even be in the public space. This is something that as artists coming from a time before the internet, you should be able to, as men, sit down and work out on the issues. And I'm being very frank. I'm very disappointed. I mean, Buju, there's nothing I can expect from Buju these days, to be quite honest. Anything is anything with Buju Banton. But, to involve, to where the situation is right now, considering these gentlemen are icons of the music, very disappointed. And I keep saying, I say it again, when you reach a certain level of iconic status within the music business, you don't have to do wild things to stay relevant. You just need to maintain your standard. Yeah? And I just very disappointed in the current situation. But as I said, there's not much you can expect from Buju Banton these days.
Yeah. What do you think, like, producers and more of the, I don't want to say older, but veteran entertainers, what can they learn from this whole thing that is playing out across social media involving Buju and Wayne?
Just keep your mouth shut. The men work out the situation like how men sit down and work it out. I don't know where our society has been dwindled down now to a situation where men are behaving catty, just for want of a better word. They're very catty nowadays. And I don't know where this attitude comes from, where two men can sit down looking at each other in the eye and work out them issues and them scenario. And if they can't work it out and they can't come to a resolution, then they just move up, just part ways and just leave it at that. But coming to the public and running up and down in the mouth, like, what are you going to get from that? It's just another, I don't understand it. I don't understand what is the point. I don't understand what the motive, because at the end of the day, the general public, if there's an issue about publishing, then over a particular song, but coming to the general public can't help.
Yeah.
Like, can any of us, with our opinion, decide? Can we make the decision? No. You guys have to go and sit down and do the business side and do the right part of the thing in a way that makes sense for it to work.
Yeah.
But don't come into the general public. Like, people believe you're coming to the general public and oust your dirty linen, as though the general public can change the fact of the matter that in most cases require business structure or legal proceedings to make it happen. We can't help you. The public can't help you. So you're coming on the public for.
Do you feel though, Laing, because that's a solid point that you just made, but do you feel though, for example, like even in the Grindsman Vibes Cartel situation, like there is this need to go public with the information because legally the I's are not dotted and the T's are not crossed?
That's still not going to make any difference, because at the end of the day, if you did not dot an I across a T in the first place, how is public opinion going to help you to get royalties? You cannot bully people into something that you did not do. I see this whole thing with Grindsman, as though Grindsman going to sit down and his cartel going to make him rich after him sit down all of these years and didn't pay attention to his publishing. And if truth be told, if you can get $1 million in Lucky, yeah, and I'm talking $1 million Jamaican dollars. So sometimes them talk out of turn because them don't understand the scope of the business, and then them have all of these rat trap people around them. I tell them their foolishness, and then them pump up them head, set up themselves the disappointment and embarrassment in the general public. Like, it's just stupid. When Cartel did come out with the song how many years ago, he was so happy that this young gun did his song over, and he walk up and down with the intellectually masturbating himself that him still relevant. But he did not take the time to stop and say, all right, so the youth use the thing, how we do this now? But sit down with Cartel, go work out how we work out the usage of and the interpolation of this piece, I think. Yeah, well, give me a cut, go work out a piece of the action, go work out the maths. But now when you block and you pop down and your publishing is all over the place, you want to find somebody now to hang on to hold. But you're not going to work out. And I see it I'm not sorry for these artists, Kashima. I'm not sorry for them. Yeah, because in the early days when you went to a lot of these artists that them make the dub plate and them money rampant and them a do it, and it's now them a try to give you a call. Me not sorry for them. Yeah? Me not sorry for them. So when you hear them go out before them go do the business and try to work out them publishing and go and get a catalog audit and go find a good publishing administrator to sort out them business, right? Them coming on social media bawling a cry. I saw Ghost do the same thing. And I watch Ghost sit down on social media and just explain how he literally messed up his own publishing arrangement and thought that he was giving. And I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, these artists from between in that period, them understand this thing? They don't. And then talk with such strength and naivety that you can't talk to them. Can't talk to them.
Have you ever tried to share information with them back in the days, like, you know, during that time when, you know, you enter into the music industry and, you know, you have the information, you're working internationally as well, you know, you're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and like you say, you've been sharing information from day one. Did you share it with them?
I can't share information that people don't want. Like, you just can't go up to a man and be like, hey, guess what, you know, I think you're publishing it out of turn. And even if you did, then take it as disrespect. Then take it as disrespect. You can reach out to them and you say, you know, and you say a man or you might walk him up and say, yo, give me a second. You know, look on your publishing thing out there and you need to come talk to me because your thing junk. When I say, yo, right now, they want to look on that in a car. Right now. And I'm like, right, some of them just dark and ignorant to their own demise. It's not cute. Not cute. I don't know, but it's not cute. Yeah? And I can tell you this. Every year in this business, we dash away 2.2 billion Jamaican dollars worth of royalty. Just straight away. So nobody can take us serious, Kashima, as a homegrown industry if we keep making these mistakes time and time again. And then we're selling the same mistakes to the next generation. And then when the youth then try to do something different, like I've seen situations where the next generation taking them things serious, but they want to go work with somebody from the next generation and they go, yeah, my brother, so split sheet. And then the older artist is like, so what, you know, trust me on really. I have seen people, older artists get triggered because they pull out a split sheet.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So,
can you you share with us an experience that you have had with international labels and how they view our industry?
Every day. One of the things that as a music consultant that I have to be doing at least weekly is international labels, A&Rs, people within the business who want to get some sort of ground intelligence on what's happening in Jamaica around a particular artist. They come and they ask me. And one of the biggest problems that we have in this space is artists that understand the business. And so a lot of people are intrepid to work with certain artists. They call, are you working? Do you have an association with this artist? Because at the end of the day, they just want to understand that the business side of it is being done correctly. And most cases, it's not. So one of the reasons I can tell you, we have, because we have used up all the goodwill that we had in the international space. We have used up all the goodwill. The artists from the 80s and the 90s, in a string of like the sense of indiscipline that was going on during that time. When the music dwindled down to now, one, there's the people who would have been empathetic to our approach to the music is no longer involved in these businesses, and the people now who are at the front end of the business, they're doing business. Then the business moves us and our cultural vibe or anything. It's a numbers game right now. Yeah.
On that note, Laing, we have a numbers game that we have to play. Cashpot is coming up. Don't go anywhere, but we have to take this. Stick and stay.
All right, do that, man. Yeah, man. Do the money.
Oxymaster, make everything cleaner. The time by Oxymaster, the stain blaster is...
It is now 12:59. We're standing by. Listen up. Your top draw dollars. Pick 2, pick 3, pick 4. Hot pick and cash pot. Lunchtime draws up next. We are on the road to success and we're journeying with none other than Lloyd Laing.
But what you got, man?
When you're winning, it's a sweet story. And when you're not, then the war is bitter. Ain't quick to call me a sinner. Only judge I know my history. So we have to give the king glory. Like a tree planted by the river. I smile with the sun. Can't keep it down, cause we have to overcome.
Best nights under pressure, got a lot on my mind. But will life be without all the struggles of mine? Can't sleep, so
Welcome to the official live drawing of the Supreme Ventures Lottery Games. This could be your lucky day. Get your tickets out and let the games begin.
Good afternoon and happy Thursday, March 26, 2026. I'm Kimberly. Welcome to this afternoon's Supreme Ventures live game draw. Just in case you missed it, here's a quick look at our mid-morning winning numbers. All Supreme Ventures live games are being supervised by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission and observed by the independent auditing firm PwC. Let's put some money in your top draw. This afternoon's jackpot is all of $600,000. Here now are your winning top draw numbers. Coming down first for top draw is the number 6. The second winning number, that's 12. Now for the third top draw number, we have 5. The fourth number, 15. And the final number for that $600,000 is a lucky number 1. Now let's make you play with our dollars game. I hope you're feeling lucky. Here we go. First down for dollars is 23. The second winning number, that's 21. The third dollars number making its way is 6. The fourth number, lucky number 13. Next up in our dollars game we have 8. Taking us halfway there is 27. Following is a count down to 26. 34 is next. 16 follows, and coming down is 36. Next up we have 20, and the final dollars number for this afternoon is 9. Now for some easy winnings with our Pick 2 game. Let's play. First up for Pick 2 is 18, and the second winning number also 18. So once again, your winning Pick 2 numbers are 18 and 18. Up next, you can play it all of 3 ways. It's a Pick 3 game. Now here we go. First up for Pick 3 is 0. Now for the second number, we have 2, and the third and final number, that's lucky number 7. So once again, your winning Pick 3 numbers are 0, 2, and 7. It's time to tune up your winnings. Get ready for Pick 4. First in our Pick 4 game is 8. Now for the second number, we have 1. The third Pick 4 number, that's another 1, and the fourth and final number is 6. So once again, your winning Pick 4 numbers are 8, 1, 1, and 6. Now this one, it is for win. So let's heat things up at Hot Pick. And this afternoon's winning Hot Pick number is 10. Congratulations to all Hot Pick winners. Again, your winning number is 10. You live to play it. But can you win it? Get ready to be a big cash ball winner. And let's see what the winning number will be. And this afternoon's winning cash button number, here it comes. It is 1, and the lucky mark is Duppy. Now let's mega those winnings, and of course, good luck to you. And the balls are bubbling up. Let's see, what will it be? This afternoon it will be a white ball that has been selected. It's now time for the monster. So good luck once more. Here we go. Around and round they go. And a white ball was selected. Let's take a look at this afternoon's winning numbers, and congratulations to everyone who won. Now please do join us again at 3 p.m. for more games you love to play. I'm Lady Kimberly wishing you a supreme afternoon.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures games every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
That was the lunchtime top draw dollars, Pick 2, Pick 3, Pick 4, Hot Pick, and Cash Pot draws. Congratulations to all of today's winners. Join us again at 3 p.m. for another chance to win in Hot Pick and Cash Pot special pot draws. The hour 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. is brought to you by Red Stripe. Win over 12 million in cash and prizes in the Beer Winnings promotion. Drink and live responsibly. If you're just joining us, we are on the road to success, and we're journeying with none other than Lloyd Laing. Now, Laing, before the cash pot break, you were in the process of telling us about how we have lost favors, or we don't have any more favors internationally.
Yeah, man. We have used up all our the empathy, the sympathy that people would have had for us in the business because of ill discipline, bad business practices, managers that don't know the business, exploitation on both sides of the table. And at the end of the day, it's really a numbers game right now, and we have built an entire industry on hustling. You know, them say tricks are trade, at least a matches boxing business. And where we are right now in this particular iteration, especially like I look at it the other day, and I said to people, this entire situation that with Craft God the other day really created another chokehold in the business for the next generation. All this thing that you see happening right now with the eye situation with Regiology King and all of this, they are compounding the situation, because at the end of the day, it's like we're doing the same thing from the 90s. The artists, them uncontrollable, they can't be managed, or they're ill managed. And at the end of the day, the only thing that people are looking at us for right now. It's not even to have artists to develop or to have A&R or to create anything. They're just looking on, are you moving numbers? Can we get those numbers and how can we acquire publishing? Besides from that, nobody won't have anything much to do with it. I'm telling you the truth.
Wow. So I mean, I know you said it's a numbers game, but in the same breath, we also know that numbers can be manipulated. So what is the balance in that regard?
We do it every day, and that is why we kill ourselves. We are the industry that gas numbers the most. And then we gas it so much, we don't use it strategically, Kashima. We gas it so much that eventually the system just pull me out. Look at YouTube trending charts. Then just eventually say that don't matter anymore. Now we have this thing now where everybody is guessing them thing on iTunes, guessing them thing on iTunes, guessing them thing. Eventually it's not going to have any relevance. Because we see the numbers and know that some of these numbers aren't real. They're not real. Because remember, I know, iTunes chart is a trending chart, which means that your position is probably for 15 minutes. You outsold Bob Marley for 2.5 minutes. You took a screenshot and you put it up on Instagram and you use it as part of your marketing, push of your marketing machinery. But don't use it as a comparison. Me better than that artist because me are number 2 and last week you're number 3. No, you were number 2 for 15 minutes. And I'm not saying that you can't celebrate a brief moment at the top. But let's be real around here. Right? We see this whole argument, oh, Massacre did reach them, but this is the same situation. We have to understand that Billboard is different from iTunes, and it's two totally different beasts. And if you can get your friend them to get the thing on iTunes or go buy one of these services that will get the tune on iTunes and give you that snapshot so you can sell it to the world. You need to do that 7 times over by Billboard. Yeah?
Yeah.
So we want people to know, okay, everybody there on iTunes now. Okay, blah, blah. But do that no. Go gas yourself to Billboard now. Let's see how that's going to work. We just keep on doing these things. And maybe we're going to have to go through an entire season between 2023, 2024. Then a lot of the people investing in music were truckers. People were driving and sleeping in them truck and a cook at the side of the road. And all of these guys in Jamaica just take the money, go gas it up, and there was no publishing, no nothing. You have to stop that now, man. Investors don't even want to invest in the business because they don't know if the numbers are real.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know just like anything in life, you know, there are good and bad, negative and positive, and everything is about doing it in moderation. But we also know, like streaming platforms, they pay cents in comparison to radio, for example. So what would you say is the balance? Because while the streaming is important and, you know, while the numbers are important, is it the ultimate in this digital age?
No, it's not. It's not. And until we get that, we are still hell-bent in our industry that I own the masters. And there are a lot of people, oh, I own the masters, I own the masters. Have you protected your equity in the sound recording? No, you didn't. Did you ensure as a producer you were involved in actually the registration of the work? No, you didn't. Right? What matters now is not who owns the masters. Spotify is just an index in the business. Real people don't really look on Spotify as anything because Spotify is a passive revenue stream. Right? What is the number that the managers are looking at, the investors are looking at is the size of your catalog, and what your catalog is generating is your fan equity. And when you look at a Jamaican artist and say, what is your fan equity? Them go, huh? Because them don't know what that means. You see, people don't understand that in the music business, if you can find 1,000 fans who are willing to spend $100 over the course of 12 months with you, you win. Just do the math. 1,000 fans who are willing to spend $7.99 each month on your musical experience across the space of 12 months is what you need. But most artists, if you ask them now, how many fan emails you have? They don't have any. But you have 10,000 monthly listeners, 20,000 monthly listeners. All right, reach out to them listeners. Then how do you reach out to them? You don't own your listener. You have to define whether you are creating you're trying to appeal to consumers, or you're trying to create a community around your music. Most artists are trying to appeal to consumers and frustrate themselves in the process. And then you have the other side to it. Most artists don't have the personality to sell themselves, to be dynamic and go in the street and sell themselves. You remember years ago when we had this digital rising star thing and they might have to go into the street with them like a tin pan and go after it. And it built so much personality and character because them have to go in the streets and sell themselves. You can't tell none of them artists have to do it now because them coming from a generation where everybody gets a certificate of participation.
Yeah, and when Laing says sell yourself, him don't mean physically. Go sell yourself, cause you know the mindset.
Mindset, exactly, the mindset, and because them do, and it comes back down to confidence. And if you really believe in a thing, I realize that artists have the propensity to say, "Yo, me," like the other day, I had a conversation with the artist, and I'm upon, Mr. Laing, you have my career, and I'm like, no, I don't. You want to be an independent artist, but at the same time, you want somebody to be responsible for your success. You have to have a vested interest and drive and goal and effort and sweat equity into designing your success. Everybody wants to leave it to somebody else. And we have done this time and time again. That's why you leave your publishing to somebody, them take it. You leave your management of your business to somebody, it mash up. At the end of the day, being an independent artist means one thing and one thing alone. Nobody is looking out for you but yourself. Nobody's looking out for you but yourself. And so even if you have people around you doing certain functions in your business, you better know how it is done. So you can know exactly when they're screwing you over. Simple.
Yeah. So what services do you provide? First, let me ask you about Regiology. Exactly what is that? What is that? And how did you decided that you wanted to create this thing?
All right, so the whole terminology, Regiology, came out at the same time when I had JL Mobile and we were doing tablet in school projects at the University of the West Indies. And at the time, very great friends with Naya Stanley and Dr. Dennis Howard. Big up Dr. Dennis Howard. And started to work on some papers, some very groundbreaking papers with Dr. Naya Stanley. And I eventually decided that I was going to do an in-depth research on the genealogy of reggae. And it's one of the most extensive works ever done in it. It's called The Genealogy of Reggae 1200 BC to 2010 AD. And we broke that down into a wonderful body of work that eventually became a book. But that is where the term came from, Regiology. And it's just stuck ever since, Big up to Dennis Howard who made sure it stick. But at the end of the day, it was really me an academic journey into the music before we actually even decided to do the business, because we had to get to the roots before I understand how we're going to make the fruits.
Now, you strike me as somebody who, I don't want to say forceful when you're telling your truth, but you just talk it as it is, right? And we're in an industry where the egos are so huge. How are you able to convey, the information that you have to ultimately help an artist without them taking what you are giving to them, like, personal? What is that process like for you?
Anybody who takes that approach to learning will never learn anything at all. If somebody is coming to you and giving you ready the information, and it has to be spoon-fed to you, you're not ready for the business of music. Yeah? You're not ready for the business of music.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there is hard lines. The music business is about hard lines, and it's not about rubbing egos. And if you want somebody around you to intellectually masturbate your ego, you're going to be in a very serious problem in this industry. Because in the mainstream, outside of what I call the Caribbean music diaspora, nobody gives a hoot about your feelings. Honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Nobody gives a hoot about your feelings. So it's either you're texty, and you're big people now, they're not children. Yeah, I hear people all the while have been saying that giving artists an information is like giving a sharp knife to a 7-year-old. And I don't believe so. I believe that the level of artists in the business now are intellectuals, they are business people, not just creatives. And I don't even just look at because the next generation as artists anymore. They are creative entrepreneurs, and if that's not the approach, I'm taking them already on the wrong path.
Now, recently there was a promoter from Spain who suggested that reggae is declining in the market or is dying. This, of course, was met by heavy backlash across social media. Now, do you think artists are overpricing themselves, or is this a deeper problem of imbalance in the industry?
Well, I mean, it really has come to a fore. I mean, if you really look at that whole situation with Craft God last Christmas, It has come to a point. Nobody paying no 34,000 and all of these weird prices that we hear people asking for. And then when we look, the shows are not there. So at the end of the day, we can look at it on a number of ways. We have priced ourselves out of the market economically, and we have placed ourselves out of the market based upon how we do business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Laing, you're hearing me? I think you're frozen.
Come on.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you're hearing me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you. We're going to go for a quick time signal. Don't go anywhere.
All right, no problem.
Beer winnings with red stripe. Beer winnings with red stripe. Mix and match the 4 brew with them like Dragon Stout and Malta, them well nice. With any flavors of red stripe, yeah, a beer vibes.
Buy any of your favorite red stripe brews plus Malta or Dragon Stout to win your share of $12 million in cash and prizes. See the press for details and how to enter.
Beer winnings with red stripe. Mix and match the 4 brew with them like Dragon Stout
Must
and
be
Malta,
18 years or
them well
older.
nice.
Drink and live responsibly.
It is now 1:17. The hour 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. inside the Easy Skanking is brought to you by Red Stripe. Win over 12 million in cash and prizes in the beer winnings promotion. Drink and live responsibly. Now, something that I wanted to ask you, Laing, with all the feuds that's been happening now, you know, with the veteran entertainers as it relates to publishing, have any younger entertainers, you know, approached you about getting their ducks in a row then?
Oh, let me tell you, and I'm going to be very honest with you. We have quite a few of our current clients at CRMA. We have quite a few young artists, some of the artists who are, you know, very relevant within our space, who have decided that they're going to take this thing serious called music. And, you know, they have done the right moves and are doing the right thing. I'm literally sitting right here now at a meeting with a female artist who wants to get the right thing done as well. So the artists out there, they're smart. I'm not going to, this generation of artists, they're smart, they're willing to learn, they're willing to do the right thing, and they're planning for long term. It's not like the ones of the past who they just do a master's and then look for the dub plate. These artists are willing to put it together. They understand that business structure is important. They understand that publishing is a financial instrument that must be protected. And they're just making the right moves. And I'm very proud of, you know, what I'm seeing and the results I'm seeing out there. We're not just talking about people registering an IPI or registering a publishing. We're talking about people who are establishing their US-based LLCs, getting their US bank account, putting themselves together. And I've had a few clients who them don't have a visa yet, but guess what? They are owners of US companies and that are driving their publishing. Them have them US stateside bank account, and them doing the right thing in music. And because them have the infrastructure, they are able to help those around them. There's one group who is 4 or 5 of them come together to pull together their publishing structure and to establish, you know, a stateside company. And I'm proud of them. I'm absolutely proud of the young generation who are taking the time and making the sacrifices to invest in themselves. Yeah, I will always be here for the artists them who are willing to invest themselves.
Wow, that's amazing that you're providing that level of mentorship, Laing. Whether or not it comes at a fee, but it's invaluable information in truth.
First of all, I always say to people, they come and tell them, boy, I'd love you to manage me or give me some help. But I keep telling people, you never go downtown yet and see somebody with a star downtown and them have a manager. There is a saying, tricks and trade at least a matches box in business. So if you want somebody to manage you, then really and truly what you're looking for is an overseer. You want to be an indentured label to somebody, right? But if you have a business, then you are a business manager. And that's the only point in time that you actually need a business. Most of these youth, them spend more money on the clothes and the car and plugins before them go and put in the proper business structure that can help support the journey in music. Yeah?
No, something that you mentioned earlier that I wanted to go back to it, because that's the thing with you with your conversations, you know, you say so many things that I want to springboard from, but also in the interest of time. But regarding fan equity though, Alkaline has an app scheduled to be launched. Is that a great way to perhaps, you know, measure an artist's fan equity?
let me tell you something. If you want a lesson, and this is something I'm actually going to be speaking about in my newsletter this weekend, breaking down Alkaline's approach to fan equity. It is one for the books. It is something that should be studied. It is something I don't think is just for music school. This is something that needs to be studied in economics, and sociology. Because at the end of the day, when you look at the rise of Alkaline to the point where Barclays Stadium and all of these things, and understanding that he has not ever tried to appeal to consumers. Like when I look at the whole journey, no pun intended, he has never tried to appeal to consumers. He has spent the time over the last 15, 16 years to build a community, and a loyal community at that, because if you're dissing half of the stadium arena will walk out for you. This is the level of cultism, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Right? When I say cultism, it means the level of loyalty. These fans are unwavering. That is fan equity, and it's not many artists within the space have that level of fandom. They don't. He can put in an app right now and have 10, 15,000 people working with him, and a lot of times artists don't understand. Remember now, Alkaline, when Alkaline bust, a lot of youth, it was a time when a lot of youth was migrating to the States. So Alkaline was their last connection to Jamaica, and him go over there. So they're rooted, they've grown up, they've gone to college, they're having kids now, they're married. So when you take a stop now, 10,000 Alkaline fans equal to like 30,000, a crowd of 30,000, because I'm gonna go bring him girlfriend and him friend who never experienced it. It's evangelical, and what he has done, 99.99% of the people within the Caribbean music garrison has never achieved that, and that is one for the books. You can't take it from him.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
His app is just another augmentation of him exploiting, and when I say exploiting, we're not saying exploiting in a bad word. The music business is about exploitation. So let me just make you know that first. The music business is about the exploitation of intellectual property. So if you don't want to take it as a bad word, let me tell you when it becomes a bad word. If you are not exploiting your intellectual property, that is when it becomes a bad word. But exploitation of intellectual property is only a bad word when you are not doing it. Alkaline is structurally and working and using up that intellectual exploitation to make money. And there's nothing wrong with it. And his fans are there, and they feel satisfied with the reciprocation of what they're getting from the experience he's delivering. And it's a win. Yeah. It's a win for him.
And I'm happy that you put it that way, for the experience that he's delivering, they're okay with it, which brings me to another question to look at it from a broader standpoint. We see where more large arena shows, Laing, they now are relying, on tracks instead of live bands. Are we seeing a new era in live performance, and what does this shift mean for musicians?
It's not a shift. We have to understand that dancehall is delivered in a different way. Dancehall was never primarily delivered by a live band. The dancehall experience is different from a stage show experience. I hear a lot of people complain about that with the Cartel show, but you have to understand that every artist carries a different experience. And for Cartel, it wasn't about everybody can perform a really. No, Cartel's arena experience was a different arena experience from Buju, and a different experience from Alkaline. But the fact remains that dancehall is dancehall, and how dancehall is delivered is a lot different from how live reggae is delivered, from how reggae music is delivered, roots rock is delivered. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then we have to really take into state that a lot of the rhythms them where them man that did really come out on back in the days is not playable. It does not make sense to play them over live. Yeah? Because the rhythms that we need to get back to, if you want to see live performances from dancehall, we need to see rhythms that a band can actually play.
Yeah, that's a solid point. But
the YFL rhythm, the WYFL rhythm is the only rhythm out there right now that can be played by a band and translate from record to stage. Talk it truth.
Now, the government of Antigua and Barbuda has appointed Massacre as a cultural ambassador to help strengthen youth development and expand the country's creative industries. From a music business perspective, Laing, how significant is this move, one? And two, should more Caribbean governments be leveraging artists in this way?
When it comes to Antigua, I just think it's a joke actually. Gassy just love the music and him just pulling on whatever resource him have. I don't think he's and this is I've heard the conversation. I've had these conversations right around the space. Let me just be very frank.
Yes, please.
Gassy, him just love the music and him a try and think too. You know, him a artist too, so him a run up and do make an artist thing. But I don't. He himself, and I've had conversations. He don't understand the business in the real way, and don't understand that if he take the right approach. And I've said this to many people in the space of Antigua that Antigua between 2023 and 2025 had the opportunity to become the production hub of the Caribbean in terms of creating new sounds. There's a new sound that was coming out of Antigua, driven by a producer called Smilos, called Afro Caribbean, and it became a big sound. But I don't know why, how Yassi never capitalized on that. Then I sit down here the other day and watch Shine come to Jamaica, and Delhi's entire music industry is in shambles. Like, me not really understand what these projects are supposed to do, because at the end of the day, the underlying rule, how much time can Massacre spend to develop Antigua? How much, you know what I mean? You come to Jamaica and you're talking about music development, but at the end of the day, there's not even an agency in Belize where people can go sign up for your IPI number. Like, let's be real about the thing, Virgin. Yeah? So, gas is just gassing us.
Yeah, no, from a policy and development standpoint, what do you want to see, like, the Ministry of Entertainment in Jamaica put in place to support and structure the music industry?
You know, I'm glad you asked me that, Kashima, and I want to be very frank with you. We have to understand that the music industry, we keep putting everything on the back of Babsy Green. God has Babsy back me, not everything is not supposed to be on Babsy back. The Ministry of Culture and Entertainment is supposed to preserve the music, right? But in terms of business, we need to be talking to Auburn Hill. The problem is that we are so much of a hustle culture, and Mr. Hill is so much of a businessman that we don't have anything to really offer on the table. We need more. What I would like to see, I'd like to see the ministry who is in charge of preserving the music, have a conversation with Mr. Hill to allow creative entities, whether you are in music, film, but from you are in the entertainment, give us a special waiver over the next 16 months. So every artist out there can go to the company's office, and if you did have a business name, you can upgrade to a LLC so that we can start having businesses. We need more businesses. We need people to have limited liability companies. We need to stop just doing business and start becoming corporate. We need to do things above board and do it on a certain level. You get me? There are a lot of opportunities in a space and a world where it's corporations speak to corporations. If you're not part or ownership of a corporation, you can't you're not doing a business.
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, we can't hustle, but when we want the benefits we want company benefits. It's not going to work. Yeah? We need to get to that point now where the music business is no longer a hustle, and if you're coming into the business, there is a clear standard operating procedure to how you enter the business, not just the music industry, but the music business. Yeah? So looking at even RG Marks, they are ministers without portfolio for efficiency. These are some of the things and the conversations that we would like to have, because every day the music industry is probably one of the biggest things that drive Grand Jamaica, but at the end of the day, because of how we do business within the music business, they can't do what we deserve.
Yeah. So, so,
Be honest.
so Laing, you have like this wealth of information, right? Information for days, and how you convey it, you make it interesting, right? Now, do you have workshops? I mean, what are you doing in terms of, imparting this information to the masses? Have you ever contemplated like doing workshops and that type of thing?
All right, I want to tell you something now. We have something called Music edX. It's the Music Entrepreneurial Development Experience. It's the first online virtual campus of its kind, which just focus on developing and teaching business workshops and courses. We currently have a course called the Certified Music Registration Professional Certification course that we actually have running right now. We have one on rights management that we're also doing. So what we're trying to do is roll out an academic curriculum and different certifications around different sections of the music business. Like we have enough singer, we have enough writer, we have enough bassists and instrumentalists. What we need is business people who know how to publishing administrators that are home based. So we don't have to rely on all of these obscure people who we have to get up and call 6-7 hours outside of a loop. We need people here who understand the business so people can approach them to manage their business. We need business people, we need managers, we need administrators. Yeah, that's what we need now for our homegrown industry. We have enough artists. So what we're trying to do through Music edX is try to create courses over the course of create courses and workshops that can accommodate building the business professionals that we need to support the business.
Okay.
So you have two sides, you have the industry and you have the business. And what we have in our space is a chasm between the industry and the business that can only be bridged by people who know the business. And so we're not trying to be a one-eye god around here. We have 12 people already out on the road who are certified music registration professionals. We have another 7 that we're actually training right now. So these people can go out there and provide the same level of support that I am providing for my clients. We're building a business now. We're building the business side of the industry now. Yeah?
Yeah. Right. No, wow. Amazing. No, I don't know where the time went. I told you 1 hour is not enough for you to tell your story because of just even how you are. But let's bring it back to you. Spotlight now on Lloyd Laing, real quickly. How do you balance, being a family man and also the work?
Well, I'm married to music and I'm a single father. And I'm a single father because I'm married to music. So most of the women in my life don't understand that they're the side chick. Until I find a woman who can understand she's the side chick to music, I'll forever be single. And I don't have a problem doing that. But at the end of the day, you never know. Life throws some things at you sometimes, and you just have to. The biggest thing in life is to balance. It's how you approach chaos and how you approach just the chaos of life. So for me personally, I come in like water and I don't make anything bother me because at the end of the day, if everything you have to build a big wall in life, better you just flow like water. Go around it, go under it, take your time and push against it. But don't make anything stress you out. Yeah, you have a lot of people in this world. They spend their entirety just trying to make your life miserable. Because at the end of the day, you're doing things that they could never do because they don't have the personal drive to do it. Yeah, but we're there.
Yeah. And what are you teaching, Laing, the next generation that is different from what you learned?
All right. I am teaching the next generation. So different from what I learned, I'm trying to teach these kids that the music business is not a hustle. And if you want to hustle it, you're not going to make any money. The only way you're going to make money out of this dispensation of the music business is by creating a business. And understanding that it's not about building hits, but it's about building a catalog. If Michael Jackson didn't know that Thriller was going to be his biggest hit, he wouldn't do all the other albums that he did. If Bob Marley didn't know that Three Little Birds was going to be his biggest song, he wouldn't do no more. But we're in a society now where everybody thinks that the song them drop is their latter ticket to wealth and riches, and it don't work so. The music business is about building catalog, and if you don't have no catalog, you don't have no wealth. It is what it is.
Wow, Lloyd Laing, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I have to schedule for a part 2 so we can dig deeper because this is just surface.
Anytime you're ready, Kashim, I'm always here. As I said, each one keep one, learn and care. keep and share. So it is what it is, yeah? Love and respect until we link the next time. And to the massive and crew out there, love. Always love.
All right. Thank you so much, Lloyd Laing. Messages are coming through for you. This one says, yo, bless up. Big up to Mr. Laing. May I forget my notebook? Write down notes.
Yeah, man. Everybody who come around me always knows that from around me it's a learning experience. I come from a background, 5 generations of teachers. I try to run away from teaching, but at the end of the day, you know, life is a cycle and you can't run from your destiny. So we just have to balance it now and just do what we're supposed to do. Yeah? Yeah. When you in a life, when you understand any assignment, you just have to do your assignment. And one of my assignments is teaching and music. So we just have to do what we have to do. Yeah?
That is it. Lloyd Laing, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure too. Yeah, big up to you and the team at IRA for giving me the opportunity and the platform. And to the rest of Jamaica, big up on yourself. It's Regiology. I'm out.
All right. That was Lloyd Laing. Amazing. True success story. But stick and stay. See you on the flip side of this break.